Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up manual exposure when you don't know anything about manual exposure. To do this, we're going to start with our mode wheel in the letter P, and we're going to put our ISO right here by pressing this button on auto. And a couple of things to remember. First is that do not do this until you have your shot all set up. So I've got my camera on a tripod here. I've got my scene composed. I know this is exactly where I want to shoot using manual exposure. And the second thing is, know that anytime you move or change your setup, if I'm going to move my camera at all or move my setup around at all, I'm going to redo this entire process. If I take this camera from right here and I just go out into the hallway out there, I'm going to redo this whole thing. I'm going to start over with this entire process. So just keep those two things in mind, all right? So here we go. What I'm going to do is with my mode wheel and P, my ISO on auto, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a picture and see if I like the way it looks. So there it is. I like it. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to just tap my shutter release, and I'm looking at these numbers right here. 1/50 at f4 at ISO 800. Again, I tap it again. 1/50 f4 ISO 800. I just need to remember those numbers, because now what I'm going to do is switch my camera to the mode wheel M, which stands for manual, and I'm going to come on here on the back of my camera, and I'm going to change my shutter speed by using this dial right here until I get to 1/50. Then I'm going to change my f-stop, and to change your f-stop, that's this number right here. You press and hold this little AV plus or minus button right there. So I'm going to press and hold that down, and I'm going to turn that same wheel up on top until I get to f4. And then I just need to change my ISO to 800, so I'll click this ISO button, and I'm going to set that to 800. And there you go. Just like that, I've used program, or with my mode wheel on P, I've used that to figure out what my manual exposure should be, and then switch to manual exposure and set it correctly. And now if I take another picture, it should look exactly the same as the one I took before. The only thing to remember is that when you move your camera or change your spot around, when you put that mode wheel back in P, don't forget to set your ISO back to auto so that the camera can figure that out for you. And that's it. That's how you set manual exposure when you don't know anything about manual exposure.